Breaking news! Breaking news! I got a new hat today. Oh, and we're also talking about the arena. Let's roll it. But the hat's nice.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your #1 daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I'm your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. Get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. We got a great show on today's episode, Matthew, because we're going to talk a little bit of arena. And then we'll get into. Well, I know a lot of you guys might want to hear our predictions or for tonight's game as they close out the quote Stanley Cup gauntlet. But let's focus on the arena today, Matthew, because over the weekend, rumors and reports started circulating about the at least the area of where the Coyotes' new arena is going to be, and I feel like we need to respond.
Yes, because. Like in a recent video on my channel, I was like, I'll give you a tidbit. I'm hearing Phoenix. And then Robyn's like, yeah, he's right. He's here in Phoenix. So like Robyn just wanted to make sure we got it out there that we were teasing it for a while too.
Oh yeah, we've been if you follow me personally on social media at Robyn_Leonio that's on X, you'll know that starting on last Monday, so as of a week ago, I started teasing you all. So like in so many different ways of where the next arena is going to be, because I've got sources. But
sources blow out my eardrums.
So I've been teasing you guys around where it's been. So when we started saying Phoenix, we didn't really even say specifically Northeast Phoenix, but that kind of came out there, and I felt like I kind of alluded to that. Maybe some of y'all caught on to that, and if you did, good on you for catching on to my little hints. But here we are. I guess we can say that Northeast Phoenix seems to be accurate. For the sake of just making sure we want to get all the details correct. We will not confirm or deny the exact location of the arena. We can though tell you it is going to be in Northeast Phoenix, which I'm sure that for a lot of you can figure it out.
And like we can obviously speculate a little bit, but like I'll have to lead the speculation because Robyn knows more than I do. I wasn't lying when we talked about before that Robyn only lets me know certain bits of information. She doesn't want me stealing the glory over here, but I can lead a little bit of the speculation, so I will be guiding you through that, and then Robyn will be hitting a button if I hit anything we're not supposed to talk about. But anyway, what did we already know before this came out? Let's just go a couple of bullet points. Obviously, they want East Valley. 101 corridor is mentioned. The Arizona Boardwalk was never confirmed. However, there were confirmed reports via Craig Morgan of PHNX that the talks between the Phoenix Maricopa
the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community.
I apologize. I haven't had to say it for like a couple weeks. I do apologize.
No, and the location that was in question for that community actually wasn't Arizona Boardwalk. Rather, it was.
It was 5 miles south, wasn't it? Or not?
Not even 5 miles, just a few couple miles. It was McDonald and Pima. So that essentially kind of like that frontage road coming that kind of goes alongside the 101 and McDonald. So around that area. That was what was rumored for a while on the talks with the Salt River community. Those talks stalled not too far along after we just talked about that was in talks.
Yeah, so that was obviously like I speculated Arizona Boardwalk, couldn't get a confirmation on that, but then we got the confirmation of that land that wasn't that far off conversations happening. 101 corridor, they wanted that. That was one of the top couple of areas they were looking at. The land in Mesa, we could speculate if we want. We're obviously not going to know the story for a while. Seemingly stalled out for one reason or another. So we already had the reports that they are zeroing in on their last one or two plots. And then Craig Morgan further reporting that the next announcement will be the site. So as soon as they come forward, the way it's being reported and the kind of what we already know logically is it's probably not going to come until contracts are signed. Like essentially it will happen, or like 98% chance will happen. It's when we'll see that actual announcement.
Yeah. So the initial contract will be signed. However, there'll still be about a couple months or two, like 2 or 3 months, or maybe even a little bit longer, of ironing out all the kinks. So it will like, let's say ground won't be broken on a new arena until April, probably April or May.
As long as the ground as long as the ground is broke by the Stanley Cup being awarded, I don't care. I just want this thing to happen. But obviously, they want this deal to close. They gotta get the closing process. I think I mentioned before. It's like ask your parents about closing on a house. Probably a little more complicated than that, but obviously, it's just kind of a headache. So
yeah.
That's all the information that we had.
Exactly. And that's why we're just saying Northeast Phoenix, like I said, for the sake of, a lot of different things going on. We don't want to reveal anything too concrete just so we're not held, reliable. We're just trying to, hold our cards close in some ways. If you hear what I mean.
I mean, I did further elaborate in that video. There's a lot of dirt, and there sure is a lot of dirt.
There is a lot of dirt up there. There is a lot of open land up there. And so if you read Craig Morgan's recent article, he did say Northeast Phoenix close to the Scottsdale border. And what he said is accurate based off the information that I know. And again, I just am unable to elaborate at this time. But what we're going to do though is coming up after a sponsor, we're going to quickly talk about our thoughts about where this could go, and what would a spot up in Northeast Phoenix even work. We'll talk about that right after this. And today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Clayton Keller can score 50 goals. The Arizona Coyotes can make the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is the number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because with Sleeper, you could win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. You can play alongside your friends within the app, and you can go further than just hockey. You can play daily fantasy NFL, NBA, MLB, and college football. You can talk in group and team chats, all within the app. Connect with other fans of, you can check it for the Coyotes fans for all you know. Entries can be made in under a minute. All you got to do is pick whether or not studs like Clayton Keller or Michael Carcone or Logan Cooley will record more than their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, plus, minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times your bet, all you need to do is quickly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Coyotes fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply at LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper terms of use for details and locational availability.
Yes, availability, locations.
All right, Matthew. Let's keep going on this episode of Locked On Coyotes as we kind of further trying to dive into these reports of Northeast Phoenix, including our own reports, and then kind of just like analyze would a spot up there even work? Because so much I'm getting like on X. We're getting mixed things. I was like, oh, I don't like that. Or people was like, oh, I actually thinks that works fine. Let me tell you really quickly my thought, Matthew. I think a spot up there, while still not, quote, ideal, as you talked about, that Tempe location that was supposed to be the TED, that was perfect. That
Yes.
Mesa spot would have been nice too, but also that there was a kind of a lot of things you had to work on around that one because it's a lot easier to get to, especially for a mass majority of season ticket holders. Up there in northeast Phoenix, you're really close to Scottsdale, and you're still along the 101, so you have access to both the East Valley and the West Valley. So you can get, in my opinion, I feel like you can get to a little bit more season ticket holders than people might think. One more thing I will touch on before I pass it over to you. I feel like why I like this location maybe a little bit better than anyone else might say so is rush hour traffic up there would be significantly less than that of Tempe or that of Mesa.
I want to try to give you my perspective. I'm a West Valley kid through and through. I lived on 135th in Glendale for the vast majority of my schooling, like middle school to high school years, like very close to Glendale Arena, not that much farther off at this point where I live. The 101, very much West Valley bedroom community. People tend to live in the West. They go out east in the morning. They come back out west in the afternoon. There's going to be some traffic. However, when I look at this map and I zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, not only, first and foremost, is it closer to Scottsdale than Glendale was, and that's better because most of the ticket holders are there. A lot of the money is in Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. Yeah, North Phoenix. I used to live over in North Phoenix for a little bit, a couple of years. A lot of money over there. It makes a lot of sense, and it's also accessible via the 101, the 17 connecting to the 101, the 51, a couple of other service streets, obviously. It is a better drive. And then just to put it in perspective, I did choose the Coyotes, the Ice Den, Scottsdale Ice Den, just going from there to a shopping center relatively like within like a 10-mile radius or whatever, 8-mile radius. The minute difference was about 20 closer in this location than the Glendale Arena. The people that are going to, I'm going to be frank here, matter the most here because they have more money. I'm a West Valley kid. I wish they were still playing in Glendale. My vote doesn't matter because I don't have the kind of money to support this team that they're looking for. I just don't. Where the corporate bases are over here, where all the money and all the people that are living at, this is objectively better. Tempe would have been perfect. West Mesa, depending on where you're at, would have still been a very close second. When it comes to the available options for open land, not having to tear down existing projects, with Mesa and Tempe being off the table as far as we're aware, Tempe, yes, Mesa, that story will come out eventually. We'll know more. This kind of was the best other spot because there weren't a whole lot of open ideas and open places in Scottsdale that wouldn't have just been further off anyway, which would have then kind of closed it off a little more so to the rest of the valley. I think it works in a lot of ways. Yes, I do. Just to talk about my biases, I do benefit partially from this because it is a little closer to me than Mullet Arena is, than the Tempe location would have been. But by, I think, like 15 minutes, not that much.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And I want to touch a little bit more on the traffic situation for those that are coming in from the East Valley. Some people was like, oh, because like it's going to be the commute's going to suck. Very often, Matthew, will I go up to behind the Scottsdale off of Shea and Pima area, Shea and the 101, and I go up there, check out some new hockey sticks because, as you can tell, I can never get enough hockey sticks. If those who are watching, I got enough behind. I got
how else are you gonna bring up the howling photo you got there?
I know I got my howl on thing back there. I gotta put it up once I'm actually finishing getting all unpacked with my new apartment. Anyways, I would also get my skate sharpened at behind the mask. So I go up the 101, sometimes in rush hour, PM rush hour. PM rush hour going north on the 101 into Scottsdale, it doesn't exist. There is no PM rush hour going north.
However, for like the Chandler people, it will be a bit of a pain in the rear end being there.
Yeah, because you do have because the Chandler people, you will get bottlenecked a little bit by that 101 202 junction.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get past that junction, it is a pretty wide open freeway going north, unless again you go right into a lot of other situations, which are pretty rare. And if we're being frank, I feel like it's not a bad commute at all. And I feel like going to northeast Phoenix PM rush hour from the East Valley,
mm-hmm.
from my place in West Mesa, it's about half an hour, and that's not terrible. I feel like around half an hour is usually would be what I would imagine the average commute.
And can I also just add real quick, like I am going to sound like a jackass right now, but I kind of don't care. Are we not like all right now? It's not Glendale. It is not that drive. For some people that are like Chandler, maybe like further east Mesa, it's gonna kind of feel like it, but it is not Glendale. It's a much better location. Are we all not willing to suck it up a little bit for it not being like the perfect location if it keeps the damn team here? Like right now, is that not what we're willing to do?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And again, that is for another sect of season ticket holders or potential season ticket holders or game or ticket purchasers and game attendees. As you mentioned, and I'll say again, the majority of ticket holders are in North Scottsdale and Paradise Valley and the more affluent areas of the valley. And you're going, and that's that's the only way only other thing I can say about that is because then those people will be able to attend games more on a spot like that's there. That's what's going to make this team more money.
That and a winning product and proper management. That can't be
which so far seems to be promising on that side.
Yeah, on the ice, right? Like when it comes to the ownership, they're gonna have to close this deal and do a lot of other things to prove to us. But the on ice hockey op stuff, they strides, and I have nothing but respect for what they've managed to do and turn the hockey op side into.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts you have about this? I want
to get into I want to lead a little bit of speculation after the break because there's a couple of parts of the land, and I think there's one that I actually just logically can cross off. But I want to get into that on the other half of the break.
Absolutely, we'll do that right after this.
And today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Indeed knows that finding people with the right skills makes all the difference when you're hiring a team of one. Indeed knows hiring needs to be cost-effective when you're running your own business, and Indeed knows that you're doing everything for your company. You can't afford to overspend on hiring. So visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon, Indeed.com/lockedon.
All right. Let's get into that speculation, Matthew, because and I think that's what we're trying to go with. I think a lot of people are trying to wonder what exactly happened with Mesa. Because we were talking about it for a while, right? Mm-hmm. They had an intent to purchase land in Northwest Mesa, and something happened.
Yeah, something did happen, and it makes me question. Obviously, this is just a question. I don't have information on this, whether there was any truth to the lowballing reports or whether or not it just normal business stuff happens. Normal business, if you don't like the number you're hearing, talks fall apart. So I think that one's going to be a little bit of a pain. But I want to talk about this northeast land because I think there is one spot that I think logically we can cross off. Because wasn't there a report out there? You could cut me off or touch on it if you want to. That land that's closer to the Mayo Clinic, that was off limits, right? Like the Mayo Clinic owns that and they weren't selling that.
Yeah, the area that is bound by Mayo and Tatum all the way to 64th and Mayo, south, like on the south end of Mayo, and even in between 56th and 64th on the north end of Mayo. All that land is currently owned by the Mayo Clinic and actually is in development for like potential, more annex and additions to the Mayo Clinic because you can never get enough healthcare clinics in addition and other research facilities, I guess.
You could never get enough of that, apparently.
But yeah, all that land is owned by the Mayo Clinic.
And even the one that's north, right? So it would basically be like a little bit east of, well, not a little bit, like a mile east of like Desert Ridge, like all that on the north of the freeway, that little like northwest quadrant's owned by them. But what about on the northeast over there where there's a lot of dirt and you can kind of see a Walgreens?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of different, like, again, spots that work perfectly. And again, like I said, we cannot confirm the exact spot. I will say this, something that intrigues me, Matthew, because I'm looking at a map right now of like, let's say like, yeah, northeast Phoenix, right, extremely close to the border, right? You see Scottsdale Road, and then you go a little bit west on the 101. See this thing, 64th Street? You see an exit where it literally just goes into nothing. It's just like
I do see that. That looks like a solid plot.
Looks like it's prime for development.
One other plot interested me, but it was further west. Like it was past the shopping center. It was further west. It was like one plot of land that has a bunch of residential behind it that looks like, just mass wise, I don't have the ability to draw on this. It looks like the acreage wouldn't be far off, but I also don't know if that's being further developed or not. I was talking to my brother-in-law about it earlier. So look where the shopping center is and just go a little bit west of it. And it's just this big, there's like a little bit south of Deer Valley. It's just a big old piece of dirt.
I did a little bit of I did a measurement about that spot not too long ago. It fits around the acreage of what they're looking for.
Because that's what stuck out to me. Because obviously it might be slightly west of where you want, but it's also it connects right there at the 51. There would be a pretty good opportunity for an exit to shoot you off right there. And if there's already that shopping center literally just east, that seems to make more sense instead of, let's say you go further east over here on like right along Scottsdale Road. I'm looking at Scottsdale and I think Legacy Boulevard, just a little bit west of that, where it's all dirt. I kind of feel like it would plot in a little better where you have a bunch of stuff around it.
Yeah, I personally like that, especially because it is on the border, right? It's like you can easily access Scottsdale right there.
So like that's my personal speculation, but again, Robyn hasn't told me the exact location, so all I can do is speculate and then just keep tiptoeing in certain areas and watch her reaction, and maybe she'll confirm for me.
And then there's me just feeding in and be like, it wouldn't be a bad spot. I like this spot too. Just kind of throwing you off. It's kind of funny.
Remember the Mullet Road? It was like in the Bermuda Triangle. I found a Mullet Road. That's what they should build it. I want to see if I can find it right now again. Let's see.
Oh God.
Is it in Hamilton? Keep talking while I'm doing this. I'm just messing around.
No, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of speculation. Now I do want to ask you though, as we move past that and get into what exactly what the issue with Mesa was, because like I said, I feel like, again, there's only so much speculation we can make out of it, because like we said, they had a intent to purchase, a letter, that letter of intent. And then things didn't happen past it. I want to have my response to that is just the fact that, look, as we talked about back in August, Matthew, LOIs aren't legally binding.
Nope, it just starts the process.
So, yeah, it just starts the process. So, and I feel like so many people got their hopes too up for it, and I think that so our expectation was lifted higher. So when we found out it was no longer in contention, people started to speculate. So for me, it's not a speculation thing. It's kind of just an extension of what you were saying earlier. It's just part of the process. That's just what happens. And as we were talking about earlier, right? The Coyotes had 6 options to start off with, and then they went down to 3. And then now down to supposedly 1, Northeast Phoenix.
It's gonna be interesting when we finally get confirmation of all the sites. Like, I feel like within a year we'll have confirmation of what other sites they were talking to, like when this is all settled. And to be fair, technically speaking, the Mesa deal was never officially abandoned or thrown out or no longer in contention. However,
there's just reports that it just fizzled.
Yeah,
it never officially fizzled. It's just, I feel like we just figured it out.
Yeah, and like I said, the only bit of information I ever got was like just whispers from something that I couldn't confirm. So it's pretty much like treat it like a grain of salt type thing, that there was allegedly some lowballing. It could just be standard negotiating that someone interpreted that way. And like I said, it was kind of just like some whispers. I had nothing solid on that specific deal.
Absolutely. Moving on from the arena really quick, because we only have a few minutes left of this episode. Do you want to give our picks of the game for tonight's Arizona-Washington game?
Only if you answer the following question for me.
Okay.
How often do you think about Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Nimsdale Dimmadome? Dimma daily, Dimma weekly, Dimma monthly, or Dimmadome?
Dimmadome.
All right, let's do some picks.
All right. Arizona Coyotes versus Washington Capitals. Coyotes are 1.5 favorites on the puck line, with they're minus 122 on the money line, plus 102 for the Washington Capitals. Total points still at 6.5.
4-0 shutout. Washington hat trick to Dylan Strome. Connor McMichael gets a goal, so that way the Coyotes can win 6-1.
See, you can be negative all you want because it just seems to work that way. I'm always going to make the realistic prediction because that's just the reporter in me that I've been doing as for the last how long now? 9 years, however long it's been. I lost track.
You're a lot older than me, Robyn.
I'm about to.
Got you off guard.
This is not even true.
What do you mean? You're ancient. You've been over the hill, Robyn Leonio.
Or you're younger than you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an elder Zoomer. I'm still hip with the kids or whatever.
Anyways, because how I am, I'm able to make my prediction. I'm gonna say this one is going to be a 4-2 Arizona Coyotes win.
Sounds logical. Who's got any anytime scorers or anytime assists?
Anytime. Let's see. Anytime points, I will do that. Right? I got 2 Coyotes players anytime points. Lawson Krause and Michael Carcone.
Okay, safe picks. I'm going to be a little more creative than you.
On the Washington side, anytime goal scorer, and I'm gonna steal one from you in Dylan Strome.
Yep, that's one of my anytime goal scorers. Has to be revenge game Dylan Strome. But just to have fun with the anytime points, let's go with Logan Cooley. Let's go with a couple of points by 3rd overall Coyotes selections. And then just because I enjoy chaos, anytime goal scorer Milos Kelemen. Let's just throw one out there.
I love that. One more. Let's see if we can do it.
All right.
Total number of saves. What do you think? By both goalies combined? Get question mark? What do you think? Or just Coyotes goalie?
It's both goalies combined. It's going to be in the 40s. So we'll just go with the Coyotes. Have they given a confirmation of if Enge's getting the net? I think they confirmed that he's getting the net, right? Or is that one not going to be announced till the morning skate tomorrow?
I have not seen. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
I'll go on the assumption of Enge. Let's go 32 saves.
Yeah, I don't think they've. I don't think they mentioned it. Yeah, I haven't seen any confirmations yet. But let's assume. Mm-hmm. And what'd you say?
32 saves. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that for total, it'll be in the 40s. Let's go 48 saves between the two goaltenders because the Coyotes love to shoot the puck 22 times and score 4 goals out of it.
That's fair. That is fair. Anyways, we're out of time on today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you guys like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We are available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube, Sirius XM radio app, and ad-free on Amazon Music. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on X at LO_Coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leonio. Matt Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. You might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks to everyone for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.